And we are back. I'm Ronnie James Harris of the Limitless Channel, and I'm joined with Jason William Laufenberg from Awake Souls, and we are together way beyond Flat Earth. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. We're beyond Flat Earth. Love it. Back on this channel. And so tonight's going to be full of updates. Tons and tons of updates as far as what we're doing, what we're up to, what our plans are. And hopefully you all noticed the poll, and hopefully you voted, because we would love to get your direction as far as what you find most important, what you're interested in, and that way we can try to cater the content towards the audience. So looking forward to people's participation tonight. We're going to be talking about a new way to participate. In fact, a whole new way to be able to interact and get together with each other tonight. We've been putting our minds to it, and we've got a plan now. So that's part of the update. So, brother, we were getting ready for tonight, and we both were sort of dumbfounded with how there's really not that much to talk about, right?
Well, there's not much going on as we move into the the winter season, right? There's really background music way too loud. There's not really that much really going on, but we do see that what you wanted to talk about. So there's the G20 summit that's starting tomorrow. Where is it again?
Indonesia.
So there's that topic. Oh, is it there? Yeah, that's interesting. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is crashing really bad, right? Or is it the exchange?
Yeah, some sort of exchange attached to Bitcoin or digital coin. Um, yeah, that's supposedly big dropout. So that and the election, the midterms, right? So it was supposed to be a big red wave. That's what everybody was, predicting and getting all hyped for, and no big red wave. It looks like Democrats to hold the Senate, and it's still up in the air about the House. So, um, I hate politics and I hate this left, right, red, blue paradigm stuff, but it is what sort of governs what's taking place in the world. So we try to keep tabs on it, but it's boring. It's a stupid topic because we've already shown everybody how all these leaders are selected. They're not elected, and but we still keeping tabs on it. So we'll talk about the election. Are there any other topics that have been that you're aware of recently that you seem to be part of the big narrative, right?
Well, there's the whole Twitter thing, and the racketeering going on, saying they're trying to act like they're tanking Facebook. Twitter's going bankrupt. There's like a change taking place with the social media sites. Now, we know that CIA created LifeLog, which turned into Facebook, which is, the six eyes. It's just a tracking mechanism for the elite. And we know they use Twitter and they use all these other things. And, what the main thing that I see that's going on is they're bringing in monetization. And then what they're going to do is they're just going to start censoring everybody off of Twitter, which has already happened. A bunch of the links, I would say it's up a good 30-40% of links being taken down now that Elon Musk has taken over. So there's that. I don't know why we're getting a call. I'm going to check and make sure that I don't have any issues. But what else have you seen?
Yeah, that's the brunt of it. And I just looked to see what the headlines were pushing and saw this G20 summit. And so I'm completely not interested in it. But, just at a glance, I saw that, Biden and China's leader. So this is going to be a big narrative there. I guess Putin's not going. Um, but so these guys all get together, and then out of it, we get some statements that are these super blanketing nonsense statements. But then all of a sudden, agendas are set and they have timelines to them, and all of a sudden things pop off. So, Ronnie's mentioned the WEF and their overarching narrative as far as the New World Order's plan and objective. They're saying it openly. This group that has actually got leaders in position, So you got the Klaus Schwab, you got him leading guys like Justin Trudeau, and it's in place, and they're doing it. They're doing it. So yeah, we're seeing Tesla's in a really weird situation right now with being like the main electric car, and it's become a socially accepted brand to have, and so they're these battery electric vehicles. And then one of the big shifts that I've been paying attention to is just how mainstream media is talking about hydrogen now, and the articles that they're releasing, and these articles are already pointing out that this is going to revolutionize the electric car market, and it's going to make the lithium ion batteries, the Tesla type battery cars, obsolete. So we're expecting great upheaval and big industry and big shifts. We're always talking to people about how the money, even though it's mostly digital right now, once they get rid of the coins and the paper, then it's nothing but digital. So these are the big changes that are taking place in this time period right now, and we show people and see how it fits with the biblical narrative of what the scriptures had us expecting. I mean, you didn't get to talk about blockchain and all that kind of stuff in the scriptures because of when it was written, but we see the modern day fulfillment of it. And so one of the other things that we're always paying attention to is where we are at timeline wise, as far as how close are we to the Great Tribulation. And it's Sunday evening, and so on a biblical timeline update, Ronnie and I are still looking at a date coming up that from this date, it's 1,260 days until Passover in 2026. So we're always looking from either a fall festival for the beginning of the Great Tribulation and the mid-trib being at a spring festival, or we're looking at the beginning of the Great Tribulation being at a spring festival, and then mid-tribulation being at a fall festival. So we're just watching that the 1,260-day count is still coming up. That's November 19th. And so paying attention to that, whether or not it's this year or some other year, it's going to be something like that, we suppose.
Well,
so we keep looking, we keep paying attention. So we're still in the looking right now in 2022 for a Great Tribulation beginning, and it still seems plausible, right?
well, it's not as much the second or the hour, but it is of the season, right?
Yeah.
We see the things that are going on, the earthquakes. We see the destruction, the wickedness, the people falling away from believing the truth and chasing, lusting after lies and deception. It's rampant. We see it everywhere. You can't hide it. It's glaringly obvious now to anybody that's paying attention. And yeah, we see the beast system inching forward. The mark of the wild animal is ready to go. They've got all the digital systems. We're just prepared. We're trying to do the best that we can so that we'll still have power for what we need for our vehicles, and so that we can try to get online and share information during the next 3.5 years. It is all shaping up for basically totalitarianism. People in China, or however you want to call it. I used to say it was like Russia, but no, it's big China, Canada. So yeah, we're seeing the season, not the day, not the second, not the hour, but we're seeing the overall season of things, and we're watching, and I'm excited. So the whole hydrogen thing, that's pretty much the update, is that you're hard into the hydrogen search, and we're continuing on my shifts in the morning time and stuff like that to break spirituality, comfort news, basically just guidelines on just how to be a decent human being is what we've been focusing on the Rise and Grind, is just going over ways to improve our lives, to treat our bodies as a temple, and to heal and help others. That's what we're doing. So why don't you give a quick update?
Yeah, so the update on hydrogen is that like we said in the last hangout, this is a topic that's not going away for us. In fact, it's just going to become a bigger part in what we're doing. So I made a new channel, which it's a co-channel. So we have a new channel that it's called The Real FEC. All right, The Real FEC. And then for YouTube, in the name, it has parentheses, flat earth, no, free energy community. So that's the joke. Flat earth community is well, most people have probably heard about it, but it turns out that free energy community is the same. So not only do we have a YouTube channel now, but we also have the websites associated with this. So yeah, what we're going to be doing is having an actual website that has a forum, right? It has a blog. It has it also has a live stream viewer player, so that you can go to the website, and what we're actually going to be doing is live streaming to the website and to YouTube and possibly Facebook, and who knows what else. We'll look at all the different
What do you mean? Hold on.
things available out there, because
You're going to join Facebook and start a FEC community page? Come on, are you serious?
I'm not against it. Twitter,
I mean, how long did you last time? A month? Was it 2 months?
but
Before they
we could get the blue check mark on
Twitter, yes.
right, as we're sharing the hydrogen fuel cells that obsolete the Tesla.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to get the blue check mark, and then start sharing the stuff that shows. So it's obvious, here's something, 1 second. Here's something that we can touch upon. So We noticed, and I called out a while ago, Elon Musk for basically he was trying to throw shade onto hydrogen usage, and what it turns out to be is that these con artists, what they do is that they set up the fall. So they say that hydrogen is the worst source of energy while they're actually creating the hydrogen technology so that they can monopolize the market. So that's what Elon's been doing, and I think it's exciting that we're going to go head to head against Elon, and we're going to expose it all. So that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah. So how people understand the whole concept and the mission and all that. So this new channel is going to be like free energy centric. So people want to talk about flat Earth. People want to talk about who created the Earth and all that kind of other stuff. We're going to refer them to our other channels. So this is going to be just for the energy conversation, and because of that, and keeping it moderated as such, what we plan to do is draw as many people interested to the whole energy topic as possible. So with the website, everything, it's going to be a repository, an aggregator of information and a repository. And there's going to be a forum where everybody's going to be able to talk about it. And there's a voting system within the forum so that everybody's going to be able to weigh in the way it really should be, where you can see up votes and down votes, like the way it used to be on Reddit and things like this. So it's going to be a place where people can actually participate in the conversation regarding energy. What we're going to do is just continue to document everything that's real, everything that's applicable, all the designs that we see that other people can capitalize off of in their own projects and endeavors. It's just going to assemble all of it and keep it together in a way that it's accessible and reachable to everybody for free.
Real, right? The real free energy community is the term that you're using, and I like it because in the hoax community and in the media, whenever they say something's real, it's fake. But we're actually going to bring out real stuff. I'm really excited. Now, I will say that this does take some serious thought and some practice and some, research. Are you guys doing research on the other side of the screen? I have to schedule in some serious research time myself because I want to contribute to the free energy community, and I want everyone else. So the other thing that I wanted to quickly point out is, and then I'll throw it back to you, is that you're looking for a community-based project, open-sourced. We want everyone to work together and share everything publicly. That's the point. We're trying to do this as a community. Again, you're stepping out and you're trying to create a forum and a place where people can come and we can amass information and research together the way that a team should work, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. So did a little looking into it, and there's so many tools available now where people are going to be able to, from their phone, come to the website and participate in a forum that looks real similar to something like Reddit, where articles can be presented, people can leave comments, pictures can be shared, so memes and that kind of stuff. And then people can comment on it and thumb it up and thumb it down. And so really want to have something where the content that we're sharing, so when I'm just doing my research and I come across like a couple of links that we're going to share tonight, I'll just be able to post these to the forum to share with people, and then once it's there, it's there. We're going to maintain this and make it publicly available to everyone. So it from this point going forward, as it gets put into use, we'll use it, and chances are people will come along and have something to say, and there, all of a sudden it's documented, and it just compiles over time. And I'm excited. It'll be a project that I wanted to do for a long time, and to finally have something like this. Plus now, because YouTube's censorship of us, we're on Beyond Flat Earth right now because of community guideline strikes. So once we have the ability to, from OBS, go live to our website, nobody can stop that. So all we have to do is get the link shared, and people will be able to see the live streams. And then what we'll do is just have uploaded versions to secure places for it. So we've heard that Telegram's good for it. We've heard that well, Odyssey we're using right now, so we'll just upload it in various places to keep it stored. But the website itself will be the aggregator of the information, and it would be nice to have something like that, to be able to publicly share all these different types of content that we have. I'm excited.
Yeah, well, it's it's stressful when you're doing content and you spend hours and hours and hours, like 20 hours or 15 hours of prep work, and then YouTube takes the stream down. They censor it. They take it down. It's very frustrating. So it'll be good just to have the carefree worry of not being taken down midstream, right? So I'm looking forward to that. And, getting our own analytics outside of YouTube. Start bringing people to places that we want to go. And I'm sure that it's going to only be the people that show up are going to show back up, but that's fine. We're going to do the best that we can to continue to put the content out, and whoever shows up, shows up. That's all we've ever done. We don't force anyone to watch our stuff or hit like or share. We just want to inspire other people to do something. And that's the main thing that I see us going towards. Rise backup link saying page unavailable. I'll put the link in again. Excuse me.
Link to what, brother?
My backup channels.
Oh, gotcha.
Channels, yeah.
So, yeah, that's part of the update tonight, is that what I'm working on right now is an introductory video to the new channel. So the real FEC community, I'm working on making a video for that. And once I have that up and published to the channel, then I'll have something that I put up on Awake Souls, letting everybody know I've got a new channel, pointing as many people as I can there. So it's going to be maybe week 2, something like that, while I'm creating that intro video and getting things ready. And then everything that I see relating to energy, I'm going to start sharing it on the real FEC a bunch, and be super active with sharing content on it. Give me something to do.
Yeah, maybe PJ CNET can go and tell Jaron or Bob or whoever is that we've started a community in a group called FEC, but it's the real one, right? The free energy community, not the flat earth community, right? FEC, excuse me, also works for that too. But no, this is the free energy community.
Yeah, so and it's, so that topic, it's pretty broad. So it's hydrogen is going to be a big focus of ours, but it covers everything from perpetual motion machines to over unity. You're going to see some other techniques. I've got a tab for another technique that it's not hydrogen, it's not fuel cells, it's not that, but all these things that are groundbreaking that I've never been aware of before, and now all of a sudden it's out there. They're saying that this is potentially available. We're going to share that, because some of these concepts here, if you take this concept and put it with this concept, you're going to have some really cool devices. And I'm just sort of a tinkerer, builder, inventor that I want to get my hands into this stuff and have some fun with it.
Well, yeah, I just want to also not have to worry about them shutting the power off. We can go online, we can stream. Now, I guess the towers need to have power, but they also run on hydrogen too, right? All the cell phone towers and 5G towers are all harnessing the same technology that we're going over. Same thing.
Yeah, and so, I mean, another thing to remind people is we're not talking about make-believe nonsense energy systems that aren't in existence and aren't real. We're talking about the things that actually are in production. They are in use, and it's right out there in the open. There's YouTube videos about it, but it's only being used on the industrial scale, and it hasn't been scaled to the consumer. So what we're going to be doing is looking at all the things that they have industrially and figuring out the things that we can scale to our own size that are, right for the consumer, and what it takes to build those things and use them. All right. So we're going to be looking at off the part shelves. We're going to be looking at the types of things that we as builders see as simple, where we're willing to do the labor ourselves and put this part of the machine together or assemble that part, and then all of a sudden we're going to have some devices, all right, that are way better than these lithium ion battery things that we have right now.
Yeah, well,
triple the energy storage.
Yeah, just to let people know, I can break it down really basic. All we're doing is creating, well, we're not doing it, it's already done, is bringing forth the new battery technology. Instead of it being called Duracell, it's going to be called hydrogen cell, right? That's all. It's just batteries. Different ways that we can create energy from free energy sources like the sun, the wind, and the tide, right? And all kinds of other things. Lasers, they're doing all types of stuff. Aluminum foil, all these different catalysts. But they take the free energy power, and then we're going to make batteries out of it that we can plug into our car, run the whatever your house, your whole community should have these devices. And that's what we're going to do. We're just getting batteries for different devices. And it's going to do away with the fossil fuel. It's going to do away with the hydro, or the electric company, as the Americans will call it. Canadians call it rightly hydro power, hydroelectric power. Because that's what every power is made from hydrogen. So that's all we're doing is creating batteries, and I'm really looking forward to it. And like you said, all we have is the commercial upscaled versions, and we're going to try to do it so we can make it a home version. And I guess, one of the funniest things that I'll bring to the table, I'll throw it back to you. I don't know. So what we have discovered, everybody, is that nitrogen is a really good carrier of hydrogen, right? It makes it possible.
Well, it's a key ingredient in some things that we might find useful.
Catalyst, a reactor. Is that what you want me to say? Energy reactor? What's the proper term?
It's tough. So as we go through this topic, it's got all the abbreviated elements. So N3 and O2 and all these types of things. And I was not interested in chemistry back in high school, and I doubt many people are interested in it right now. So we're going to have to figure out how we, the nomenclature of what we're talking about. We got to figure out how we're going to address that and what level of detail that we're going to go into, because really, all in all, the part that we're most interested in is if they say that you take this metal and you combine it with water or whatever it is, whatever the recipe is, we're going to look at everything as a recipe. What ingredient do I need? How do I mix this? How long do I bake it for? All these types of things. How much of a pressure do I put it under? How much of a vacuum do I put it under?
Yeah.
And what do I get out of it? So we're going to just be looking at everything as recipes, and 2 parts of this, 1 part of that. You stir it, or you whatever it is. And try to make it not techie, hard to understand, right?
But yeah, well, where excuse me, where I was going with that, I put too much cream in my coffee. Excuse me, where I was actually going with that is 90 million gallons of nitrogen is created per day in the United States of America from urine. So the waste facility plants, treatment plants, are actually making all different types of gases and power devices. They're actually harnessing, let alone the garbage, the landfill sites also create gases that are being used to create energy. So too does the other ways. So urine carries a heavy amount of nitrogen, which we can use nitrogen to creation of ammonia, and basically all these different things react together. And when they do, some of these liquids or fluids that are created, you can just hook wires up to them and power comes out of it. So the whole idea of what we thought a battery was is going to be changed. We're all going to be learning things, and it's going to be a slow process, and you can get things wrong. I get things wrong all the time. It's fine. The word perfect doesn't even exist. It's heliocentric nonsense. We just do our best. There's no wrong question here. Jason, you're saying, when you create the website and the what is it called? A forum. We want people to interact and help and be a part of this. I know Adam's been a big part of it, and there's other people like our Estonian connection. He's in part of it, and we want you guys to also be a part of it, right? It's not just about us.
Yeah, well, we're relatively new students to the topic. I mean, there's other people that have been in this topic and know it inside out, every vocabulary term and every concept. way more knowledgeable than us, but what we do have is the unique ability to come through and identify which parts are true of what's being said and which parts are false, where we apply broad paradigms across it. Once you know that space doesn't exist, and these types of things, dinosaurs didn't exist, once you apply that, you start to be able to see through the bullshit and pay attention to what it is that's actually taking place. So the oil that comes out of the ground, what does it look like? Does it look like black bubbling goo like we saw on TV shows in the 50s, 60s, 70s, bubbling out of geysers? What does it really look like? What is the product that's being used? It turns out, natural gas is it really seems like it is just the gas that emanates out of Earth. We're not getting barrels of crude oil as far as like just these big vats of black tarry stuff. That's not really what they're doing. They're using methane, ethanol, and these types of things. So we're going to be seeing between the lines in all these topics. And as we do that, we're probably going to catch a lot of flack from the shills in this topic, but we can actually pick up from the shills that come in and blast us for misstepping in the area where we sort of missee the process, and they'll correct us. They'll put us back online. We'll take the correction. So as new students to this topic, as long as we just learn publicly and share it with everybody, it's a no-lose situation. So we encourage everybody else to take the same approach to it. Don't be afraid of sounding dumb, because this is going to be a learning process for all of us. It's a really new topic. I mean, I don't think the vast majority of people have a total awareness of what kind of tech exists regarding energy right now. And we're going to try to peel back the layers of the onion and show the man behind the curtain. And it'll be a good endeavor. I hope some people are interested in participating.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So I guess why don't we get into the couple of links that we have, and we can get ready to screen share. If you want to take the screen share now, I'll get you presented, and we can get into a couple of things. You just had some highlights that you wanted to point out. We're not going to get too deep into things, right?
No, so some of this is just going to be right. So I see links because of the stuff that I'm paying attention to. Now all of a sudden it's starting to be sort of filtered to me. And I feel that it's important to be able to share this kind of stuff with people, so I can get this out of the way.
You are presented.
And it's really an eye-opener. So this first tab that I'm going to start out with relates to hydrogen in a way that I was never ever expecting. And it's neat because we live in an area not too far from where we live where this is going on, a whole bunch of it. And so check out what came across my plate not too long ago. This was from October 3rd, 2022. And it says, oil-eating microbes excrete the world's cheapest clean hydrogen. Have you ever heard of oil excreting hydrogen?
I didn't know that.
Especially from dry. Like, these are the wells that have been pumped out.
They're emptied, right?
All right. So it says here, Texan company Chemvita is promising clean energy at less than $1 per kilogram. This would be fantastic. After testing a fascinating new technique in the lab and the field. The idea is to pump specially developed microbes into depleted oil wells where they'll eat oil and excrete hydrogen. I mean, come on. So microbes. Whenever
they're going to crap out hydrogen?
Yes.
Wow.
So whenever I hear of microbes, I actually think of like yeast and stuff like that. And so look at what they have to say here. Humans have been harnessing tiny single-celled and multicellular organisms to perform work for much longer than we've known what they were. The earliest beers known to history were brewed some, this isn't correct, 13,000 years ago. We know it's less than 6. Making systematic use of microscopic fungus called yeast, and it is in its habit of eating sugars and starches and excreting carbon dioxide. All right, so one of the things that we got to get people realizing, this is the stuff that the climate people, right? This is what they're always against. They're not against carbon monoxide, the stuff that comes out of the tailpipe of your car that'll kill you. They're against carbon dioxide, the stuff that's in beer bubbles and it's in your sparkling water drinks. So we're talking about yeast, microscopic fungus called yeast, and its habit of eating sugars and starches and excreting carbon dioxide and ethanol. All right, remember this is, so when you're making beer, it's got an alcohol content, and more refined you make it, it's called ethanol, and ethanol is fuel. That's the stuff that's in our gasoline. That's about 7,000 years before recorded history was known to history. Well, this is BS. So it says microbes can be incredibly hard workers, and you can read all about pounds and all that kind of stuff. Let's find out about what they're doing with the oil. All right, so one company engaged in such work is Chemtiva, which is concentrating at present on microbes that feast on hydrocarbons, in particular crude oil, and ferment them, excreting hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Unfortunately, it's not accurate to describe this release as a belch or a fart. Believe me, nothing would make me happier. But in this case, the gases simply bubble out through the cell walls without any celebratory audio. All right, so you add the yeast to the empty well, and it just starts bubbling out hydrogen. This ties in beautifully with the way oil wells work. They start out at a maximum production when they're first tapped, sometimes even squirting out of the earth under pressure. I'd like to see that. But then things gradually dwindle until it costs more in energy to push or pull remaining oil out than you can sell it for. So there is plenty of oil left in depleted wells, as well as some handy infrastructure in place at each project. Chemtiva wants to turn all these wells into biological hydrogen farms. So it presumably stops up the top of the well before pumping in a heap of specially bred microbes, yeast, down into its murky depths in a stream of recycled water. The microbes go to work feasting, excreting, and multiplying, and Chemtiva captures the gases as they exit the top of the well, separating them into hydrogen for processing and sale and carbon dioxide for sequestration. The company is able to send nutrients and inhibitors down into the well to keep things under control and moving in the right direction. Chemtiva started out in a lab modifying these things genetically, whatever. Excuse me. All right. So this isn't far from us. They're trying them out in the Permian Basin in West Texas. And, we got some more talk about it.
Yeah, let's get back into that. So what we're basically talking about is a microbe that releases hydrogen when put into these well holes.
All right, so thus an oil company's stranded acid becomes an extremely low effort source of hydrogen, and a very, very cheap one, at less than $1 a kilogram before subsidies. This could represent some of the world's cheapest H2, and there'll be no lack of feedstock. Chemtiva points out that in order to meet the Polaris climate goal, some 60% of the world's known oil reserves will need to stay in the ground. So what are the risks? Well, just regulatory. And so then they talk about green hydrogen because this is creating carbon dioxide is one of the results. This is one of the things that the climate people will say, no, it's creating carbon dioxide, right? The stuff that plants eat. And I thought, let's see. Oh, there's a video here. Should we see what this is?
Did you know that there are microbes that live in subsurface oil reservoirs? Like all forms of life, these microbes consume carbon sources for energy and growth. Cemvita scientists have discovered a category of these subsurface microbes that can produce hydrogen. Meet gold hydrogen, defined as hydrogen that is produced biologically and in the subsurface. The Cemvita process ferments the unrecovered oil in depleted reservoirs and caverns to naturally produce biohydrogen. 60% of oil and natural gas reserves would have to be left in the ground in order to meet the Paris Agreement target, while according to the IEA, the demand for low-carbon hydrogen production will increase significantly from 9 megatons to 520 megatons in 2050. Why not use these unrecovered hydrocarbons as the feedstock for production of hydrogen? Cemvita is making the gold hydrogen technology available to the industry via a joint industry program and welcoming innovative companies who have a vision for repurposing their existing subsurface assets in alignment with the low-carbon energy transition. Contact Cemvita Factory today and let's go carbon negative.
I mean, that sounds great to me. You can pour some sort of a yeast-like solution down into your well, actually keep it under control, and just tap off the hydrogen that you want from the unpumped oil that's still down in the ground.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great new break in technology, right?
Sounds really ideal.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be looking more into that.
So then you get hydrogen, right? So what can you do with hydrogen? Well, here's another way, all right, that you can get hydrogen. We're seeing these new things taking place, and this is scientists just made hydrogen fuel out of thin air. So this was just published October 23rd of 2022, and so one of the things that we've been learning with extracting the hydrogen is with electrolysis. With electrolysis, you get the hydrogen and you get the oxygen out of water, right? So you need to have water for electrolysis, right? So that seemed like it would be a limitation where you needed to have water to get this. Now we got a lot of water on Earth, so it's really not a big problem. But if you don't even have like a lake, a river, a well, any of those types of things, they now can actually pull the hydrogen right out of the thin air. So this is something new. Let's check this out.
Environmental pollution. According to research, 89% of pollution today is caused by fossil fuels. For the past few decades, scientists have been working on finding pollution-free, abundantly available fuel for transport, manufacturing, and many more industries. They have been successful in finding the non-pollutant, low on emissions, pocket-friendly fuel whose byproduct is nothing but harmless water, and that miraculous fuel is hydrogen. In the past decade, tons of researchers and experiments have been done to make hydrogen fuel as abundantly convenient as air. And now, researchers from Australia have developed a DAE system that can produce hydrogen fuel via humid air, which can convert...
Whoa. Just pull in the humidity out of the air. Now it gathers its own water source. You don't even have to hook it up to a faucet. All right? So you can, with a condenser, you can pull the humidity right out of the air and get your own water. So, I mean, it's really a natural evolution. People know how to pull water out of thin air already with condensers. Yeah. And so now you just do that. You use the condenser to create your water, and then you continue with the rest of the process.
Yeah, this is the combination of 0 point energy creation. So there was the 0 point water machines that people have been using in California for a few years now. But they've taken the 0 point water creation and then added it to the 0 point hydrogen fuel cell. So it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, so PJCnet says hydrolysis uses a lot of power. So it's electrolysis. It's the electrocuting of the water. And yeah, it does use a lot of power, but one of the things that we're showing with a bunch of these tabs that we're going to be sharing with people is the great improvements that they've made and how low you can make that power consumption. So by using the right
Catalyzers.
yeah, so the right material for the anode and the right material for the cathode and the right electrolyzer, by using the right combinations, you can actually get the amount of power that you have to put in very, very low, to the point where just having a few solar panels, a small wind turbine, these types of things are going to actually produce you an abundant amount of hydrogen that you're going to then need a way to store, right, for later use. So yeah, we're all learning and working on this together, and the more we talk about it, and we're going to help each other correct each other. So somebody will be correcting something that we say along the way, that's for sure.
The dream of a pollution-free green environment into reality. Join us in this video as we will unleash how important hydrogen fuel is and how this brand new direct air electrolyzer can revolutionize the fuel production industry. Hydrogen is the most abundant and lightest organic element in the universe. There's been a lot of effort going on to use hydrogen as fuel in numerous industries. Even though it rarely exists independently on Earth, it can be produced using renewable energy resources. Hydrogen fuel is an alternative.
All right, so I want to take a look at some of the devices that they are showing us right here. And so obviously we got a bunch of wind around here.
Hydrogen
what
as
are they
fuel in
doing
numerous
with that
industries.
wind?
Even though it
So here we start to see these cube setups, and you got all your solar panels. And what are they doing here? Well, based on the video that we're watching, it looks like they are taking that solar energy and using it in electrolyzers to create hydrogen, store hydrogen. So the way that they're storing the hydrogen here, not sure. They do it through high pressure. They do it through chemical storage, dry chemical storage. We're going to be learning all the techniques, the benefits that they have, advantages, disadvantages, all that kind of stuff.
rarely exists independently on Earth, it can be produced using renewable energy resources.
So there's a portable station that this is probably making. Here's a bunch of batteries. This is probably what's making the hydrogen here. All right, so this looks like a propane tank, and these look like hydrogen tanks. So with a system like this and the solar panels, go back a click.
Even though it rarely exists independently on Earth, it can be
Here's a pretty serious power station for you. Pretty serious.
produced using renewable energy resources. Hydrogen fuel is an alternative to fossil fuels, eliminates greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuels, and produces only heat and water. About 96% of hydrogen is produced from fossil fuels such as natural gas, coal, lignite.
Doesn't something sound off here, everybody? They're saying that they're producing hydrogen from gas, from the fossil fuels. 96% of hydrogen is produced from the fossil fuels. Listen,
Emissions from fossil fuels and produces only heat and water. About 96% of hydrogen is produced from fossil fuels such as natural gas, coal, lignite, and oil. Hydrogen stores 3 times more energy than diesel or petrol and
boom, 3 times more. So now all of a sudden we're dealing in stats where, all right, I've got my diesel truck, and somebody tells me that we can put a liquid in it that stores 3 times as much energy as the diesel. All right, if it's less than 3 times more expensive, it's a better deal. All right, I want that more energy dense storage mechanism, and that's what they're saying here.
when it is burned in the air, its molecules combine with oxygen and produce water again. At present, 70 million tons of hydrogen are produced each year. Primarily,
That doesn't sound like a lot. Well, I don't know I feel like with a couple of good designs, you could have plants, just a few plants that would be able to produce that much. It doesn't seem like it would take that much to make 70 million tons.
It is used as a fuel for making ammonia, fertilizer, and methanol. Also, to remove impurities.
Ammonia, that's one of the things that we keep hearing about is ammonia, how energy dense it is and relatively safe. I mean, it's still caustic and stuff, but doesn't seem to be too much worse. I mean, if I went to a gas pump and had to pump ammonia as opposed to gasoline, but it was half the price and I got 3 times the mileage out of it, I'd be willing to do it, right?
From oil refining. A growing number of experts see hydrogen's potential to decarbonize other industries, such as lorries, aviation, heavy machinery industry, and energy production. The problems being faced in using hydrogen as a convenient fuel from the day-to-day life to heavy industry are the lack of filling stations, the requirement of huge tanks to carry this fuel.
See, this isn't fully true. This isn't a requirement, and we're going to be showing other breaking tech things that no, this isn't a requirement for the way its hydrogen is stored. Go ahead.
No, that's continue.
To remote areas, and it currently requires fossil fuels for its production, which makes it an expensive fuel. But continuous efforts of scientists have brought vast advancements in the production and storage of hydrogen fuel. Hydrogen as a fuel has been in use for several years. Precisely speaking, the main agenda of producing hydrogen fuel is no harmful emissions, low on budget, environmentally friendly, and little progress has been achieved in this case. Green hydrogen has been in the news for quite some time. Green hydrogen is a fuel that is produced through renewable energy instead of burning fossil fuels. It has seemed like the green future of the planet because scientists have proved that green hydrogen has the potential to provide clean power for transportation, manufacturing, mining, and many more. And the only byproduct or emission it has is water. And
yeah, we're good with that. This sounds great.
We all know water is not harmful to us. In this scenario, American President Joe Biden has promised to use renewable energy to produce harmless green hydrogen that costs less than natural gas and crude oils. Under his regimen, the Department of Energy has put more than 100...
This video is pumping Biden like he's a good guy. If he was a good guy, he would be explaining to people why we want to be using hydrogen, not this slow drip putting $70 million or $100 million towards it. He gives more to that to Ukraine, each week, right?
$100 million into the research and development of hydrogen and fuel cells. The European Union will be investing $430 billion in green hydrogen projects by the year 2030 to achieve the...
Here's the 2030 talk, right? To achieve the 2030 agenda. So we are coming up on being in that 7-year window to 20 or 30. And so we're actually looking at the transition from what we've always known, what they call the fossil fuel, the petrodollar, the petrol world. They are going to be doing this transition in the next 7 years. So what we want to do is we want to be at the cutting edge of it and learn and understand it and utilize it the best we can before the Great Tribulation begins. All right.
Goals of the Green Deal. Now we will look into how this green hydrogen is being produced and how costly it is. Steam methane reforming is a process through which most of the hydrogen we use is produced. A catalyst is used for a reaction between methane and high-temperature steam, which results in useful hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and a small portion of carbon dioxide.
All right, so that's what they're currently doing. Steam and methane, and they're getting hydrogen and carbon dioxide out of that process. All right, so I want to really see and understand that process in place. This animation right here doesn't satisfy me. It says at high temperatures, the methane is broken down into hydrogen and solid carbon in a reaction using liquid tin. All right. I want to see and know and understand this whole process. This is how they're currently making hydrogen. So the methane, like we were talking about earlier, coming from the landfills, the gas that's coming out of these wells, right? The methane, they're using that methane and breaking it down into hydrogen and solid carbon in a reaction using liquid tin. If anybody can share this process in depth, please share the link.
Which results in useful hydrogen, carbon monoxide, and a small portion of carbon dioxide. Through a successive process catalyst, steam and carbon monoxide react, which produces more hydrogen and carbon dioxide. In the last step, the carbon dioxide and impurities are removed, leaving pure hydrogen behind. In steam reforming, other fossil fuels such as gasoline, propane, and coal can also...
So the whole time that we've seen these companies that are making all the ammonia, they're making all the fertilizer, right? They're doing this at the refineries. They're using propane, gasoline, coal at the power plants, these types of things. They're making hydrogen. This is all, it's all about hydrogen.
Also be used to produce hydrogen, but hydrogen produced from fossil fuels would be gray hydrogen. Along with gray hydrogen, 830 million metric tons of carbon dioxide will also be emitted through this type of reforming.
Hang on, so not monoxide, the stuff that goes in the fizzy water and in beer, dioxide. It's not toxic.
Well, and it's the stuff that plants eat.
Well, you know, this is a huge problem that I have with the whole topic is how massively, I don't even want to start cussing, but how ridiculous there are people for not doing investigations. The Bill Gates, we want to put the CO net down to 0 and all this other stuff, but no one actually sees, well, what are they actually talking about? What substance is it that's polluting the planet, they say, quote unquote, with no curvature, right? So we really need to understand that carbon dioxide isn't toxic. It doesn't kill you. We consume, we eat it. It's an energy giver for us too.
And I've got another tab to share on another breakthrough technology.
I don't even know if we're in the good part of this video yet. We're 4 minutes in.
Yeah. I've got another one that deals with the photosynthesis process, where they've got this scientific chemical process where they can now do photosynthesis, where guess what? They take the carbon dioxide and make power out of it. All right. So if you're creating carbon dioxide, they've got techniques now to make power out of the carbon dioxide. It's a chemical photosynthesis, right? So it works both ways. If you can create yourself some carbon dioxide, you can use that too.
Did you know this CO2 emission would be equal to the emission of Indonesia and United Kingdom combined? When CO2, the byproduct of steam methane reforming, is captured and stored, the hydrogen produced is blue hydrogen. This type of steam reforming doesn't avoid the formation of a greenhouse gas like hydrogen, so the hydrogen produced is often called low-carbon hydrogen. Hydrogen produced through gasification using black coal or lignite is named black hydrogen, and although it has lower emissions than fossil fuels, it's the exact opposite of green hydrogen and the Green Future Deal. Another vastly adopted way of producing hydrogen is the electrolysis of water. It leaves oxygen as the byproduct. An electric current is employed which splits water into hydrogen and oxygen in an electrolyzer. When electricity is produced through renewable energy such as solar power or wind, the resulting non-polluting hydrogen is called green hydrogen. Depending on the source of electricity, hydrogen produced through electrolysis can result in zero greenhouse gas emission. The production of hydrogen via steam reforming electrolysis is significantly costly, and to meet the increasing demand for low-emission pollutant-free hydrogen fuel, scientists have now adopted the most abundant, reliable, and free medium to ace the green future game. This free medium is nothing but air and solar power.
Whoa. We had all that bad stuff. Now all of a sudden we have air and solar power. It's going to get interesting now.
Still not excited about how fuel can be made in the air? Wait till you hear how this hydrogen fuel through the air and solar energy method works, and how it can revolutionize the green fuel industry. Before that, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Now, let's get back to the video. Researchers from the University of Melbourne and the University of Manchester have designed direct air electrolysis, DAE module, to produce hydrogen for applications in remote areas. Scientists from Australia have developed a brand new way of producing hydrogen from the direct atmosphere, using humidity. A team of researchers from the University of Melbourne and the University of Manchester has developed a direct air electrolysis module that can produce hydrogen fuel for transportation and manufacturing in remote areas. This direct air electrolyzer uses air humidity to directly generate hydrogen without any input of water. The device consists of a water harvesting unit right in the middle and electrodes on both sides, which are paired with gas
So as soon as they gather the water out of the air, boom, they zap it.
collectors and can be paired up with photovoltaic and wind power generators, as well as with any kind of generator which relies on renewable energy sources. The water harvesting unit also works as the water body which holds the electrolyte. The DAE developers explained, the device has porous medium-like melamine sponge. This
All right, so this explanation right here, if anybody can help decipher this, right, because this is going to be so vague and so convoluted, if anybody can help decipher what's taking place here, we want to understand this technology better.
sintered glass is rinsed with crystalline ionic substance to absorb moisture from the air via exposed surface DAE device. The captured water is transferred to the surfaces of the electrodes through diffusion and later split in situ, which
In situ, is that situations? I mean, they're starting to talk code right here.
are collected as a pure gas. Since both electrodes are isolated from the air, oxygen
I think I get it.
and hydrogen are collected.
Right?
I think I get it. They just put a chemical with different reactors in it on top of glass panes, and then reactions take place, and it draws the moisture out of the area so they can utilize the electrolysis better, the electrodes. It's very complicated, you're right. We are going to need some help on these parts.
Collected separately. The water body between the end plate and porous foam acts as an air buffer and a barrier for the ionic solution at the excessive fluctuation of air moisture. Developers also noted that the reservoir water body avoids overflow of the electrolyte from DAE or the dry up of moist foam. The moist foam is filled with an ionic solution which forms
I have a moist film with an ionic solution. So this right here is it's drawing the water out of the air. All right. So
Ionically, right?
yeah, what is it that there's certain things like if you have acetone, if you have an old can of acetone, it's not going to be as strong if it's been open for a long time because it will have absorbed moisture out of the air. So there are plenty of solutions out there that will actually gather the water right out of the air.
a physical barrier that conveniently isolates hydrogen, oxygen, and air to avoid any mixing. Developers have built 2 prototypes that rely on solar energy and wind power. They have constructed a solar-driven, freely standing hydrogen tower with a single solar panel and 5 DAE modules which are stacked in parallel.
Look at these setups that they have already. This is the type of stuff that we need to build for us. All right, we need to see what components are in here, and
We need to go China on this. Get in there and start taking screenshots and pictures and
I know we can figure out the trailer and all that, and we can
copy
figure
it.
out how to
yeah.
put a pole up with some solar panels on it.
Yeah.
We just want to see what is hooked up to what in here.
Let's just hope that this isn't just a fossil fuel powered fossil fuels. Oh, this mind control. The black goo powered generator with a light on it is what this is built out of. Okay, I've used them most of my career. I've used these. They're great power sources for light, and it's a generator. But this one here is supposedly using hydrogen creation, right? So we see them talking about sponges and electrolyzers, and there's all this other stuff. We really just have to go ahead.
These tubes though, these are batteries now. When you look at this, right, you're used to seeing the battery that you see in a car or a boat or something like that. Now when you look at a device like this, these tanks are the batteries. So when you store the hydrogen, it's lighter, it's more energy dense, and there's safe ways to store it. And so this is a better alternative to using stuff like lithium ion batteries. Right? It's just a better solution. Everything talked about in all these videos is how it beats batteries, the ones that we're used to.
DAE will not occupy extra land, as the footprint of the tower is no more than a solar panel. This direct air electrolysis DAE system was tested for 12 days with an outdoor temperature varying between 20 to 40 degrees Celsius and the relative humidity ranging from 20 to 40%. The system successfully produced 1,500 milliliters of hydrogen in a day and showed Faraday efficiency of around 95%.
Wow.
So 1,500 milliliters, an astute person's going to realize in a day that's not even enough to power the smallest thing. So they're not saying what size device, what scale, but they are saying 95% efficient. So we're always going to be looking for the disinfo, the real info. I would need to see the 1,500 milliliters in context, because you don't need a system this big to deal with 1,500 milliliters.
There's
right?
definitely some cons going on here, right? We'll continue. Let's keep going.
To your knowledge, a Faraday efficiency is the measure of the efficiency
A Faraday,
with which
huh?
electrons participate in a given
Never heard of that one.
transformation. And after keeping the DAE module unattended in the air for 8 months, the efficiency of hydrogen remained around 90%. The academics claim this prototype achieved automated steady hydrogen production, which solely depends upon
That's it right there.
and weather conditions.
Little tiny thing.
Even after the development of the revolutionary DAE method and hydrogen sponge storage design,
Hydrogen
Sponge.
storage design.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. We're going SpongeBob hydrogen. So we got another link to get into, you said, right? But that one was cool.
That one is cool. Now here's another one. These are just headlines that I've come across. Here's from November 9th, 2022. Once again, this is some it's pretty new breaking stuff. And so this one says hydrogen producing rooftop solar panels nearing commercialization. Right, so the process that most of us are becoming familiar with is you have the solar panel up on the roof. It's making electricity. You take that electricity, you put that to an electrolyzer, you produce your hydrogen, and then you store your hydrogen. Well, this is just taking one of the links out of that process, where immediately from photovoltaically, they're producing hydrogen. Right.
Yes. Let's say what it basically is. It's a device that goes on the roof that creates hydrogen out of the solar power, green hydrogen on demand here. It comes out of this hole-in-one package.
So they're saying here, like traditional PV modules, hydrogen panels are now connected but via gas tubes instead of electric cables. The researchers are now preparing to bring the tech to the mass market via spin-off company. So instead of hooking up electrical wires from the panels, you'll be hooking up your little gas hoses. Right? It's just actually more efficient. Researchers in Belgium have created a hydrogen panel that directly converts water vapor from the air into hydrogen gas with the help of sunlight. They claim it produces 250 liters of hydrogen per day at an efficiency of 15%. So what happens with a new technology, it comes out like this, and over time the efficiency goes up. But one of the things we got to remember is all the energy that we get from the sun is free. All of it. So as long as we can keep the cost down on our devices that are harnessing it, whatever efficiency it says, as long as the cost per unit's down, it's going to be well worth our time. It just means that it's going to take up more space, right? If the efficiency is not as high. In a nutshell, hydrogen panels are modules that use solar energy to split water molecules and produce hydrogen gas. This means only the most arid places on Earth are too dry for hydrogen panels to work efficiently. This would not be your solution in the desert, or even when they have a whole bunch of sun. So these are going to work better where you've got more moisture in the air.
Canada, or whatever they China.
Exactly. So we're going to be learning about all these different types of systems out there so that we can focus on what's best for a person in their area. All right. What build are you going to make based off of your situation? But I just wanted to show people that now they're already making panels where you're hooking up gas lines to them because it's already making the hydrogen gas boom right here. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, me too.
And here's my last tab for the night.
Okay, let's see what this one is.
So,
Chemists, what? Chemists create a, quote, artificial photosynthesis, end quote.
yeah.
Hold on, says system 10 times more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going to be talking about carbon dioxide again, because what is it that plants eat? What is their fuel? It is carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
So the light, the carbon dioxide, and the water, and what they get is they get carbohydrates, which is a biofuel for the cell, right? And so what they did is just the process a little bit different. All right, let's listen to what's going on now. We'll skip down to one possible option scientists are exploring is artificial photosynthesis, reworking a plant system to make our own kinds of fuels. However, the chemical equipment in a single leaf is incredibly complex. So we got all these chemists, and it says, unlike regular photosynthesis, which produces carbohydrates from carbon dioxide, here we're hearing it right from the scientists, from carbon dioxide and water, artificial photosynthesis could produce ethanol, methane, and other fuels. Though it is a long way to go before it can become a way for you to fuel your car every day, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. I was going to point out something about how this topic was heavily shilled in the 80s and 90s, but we're going to continue.
Yeah, so without natural photosynthesis, we would not be here. It made the oxygen we breathe. Well, we believe in a creator, but...
well, the symbiotic nature of the realm does point straight to a creator.
All right. So the trouble is that photosynthesis is built to create carbohydrates, which are great for fueling us, but not our cars, which need much more concentrated energy. So researchers looking to create alternatives to fossil fuels have re-engineered the process to create more energy-dense fuels such as ethanol or methane. In nature, photosynthesis is performed by several very complex assemblies of proteins, pigments, blah, 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 a long string of hydrogen, oxygen, carbon compounds. All right. Scientists, however, need to rework the reactions to instead produce a different arrangement with just hydrogen surrounding a juicy carbon core.
Juicy carbon core. What kind of language is this? Are we talking about hydrogen creation? CH4.
Well, CH4, methane, right? So
methane
is
and that's what the cows are. They want to no more eating meat because of methane, right?
Because of methane.
Though we can make power from methane.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, methane's how they're creating most of their hydrogen.
Yeah. Well, and the waste, the facility plants that treat waste. That's where they're getting it all. They're making it from that mostly, from the nitrogen and the other animal excretions, right? It's weird to say, but that's what it's going to be made from.
So the carbon dioxide, all right, with the water, with the light, they're able to create methane from that chemical process. So they can take our carbon dioxide that they're filtering out of whatever process that they're doing, and they can take that carbon dioxide and through this reaction right here produce methane, fuel. So the carbon dioxide can be used as electrical fuel for us too. We're just going to convert it to methane, and we've got a lot of ways to use methane to produce electricity. So these processes are all interlinked in one way or the other. It seems like this byproduct over here, if you use this catalyzer and this, all of a sudden, boom, you have something that you
more hydrogen,
right? Or you've turned it back a process that you can do it again too.
Or you can totally neutralize something to something completely safe.
It's
right. You can have something that's dangerous. You add a little bit of this stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you have water.
Yeah, just pure water, right? Cold fusion. We're talking about cold fusion here, right?
So we're going to continue to share that stuff. It's fun. And we're going to learn how to put some of this stuff to use.
Juicy carbon core, CH4, also known as methane. Yeah, but I thought that was a good link too. That's not the one I thought. I was confused. So yeah, what they did originally was they sent out Bob Lazar, and he came out, and he was the guy who converted his Corvette. It was like one of the 1990s ones to run on hydrogen, and then he said that it was what they do is they make it illegal, right? So as soon as Bob started doing that, they said that hydrogen was what do they call that? Like a country secret, or it was like against the rules, so they shut you down. So they've also done this with the hydrogen creation too. Same thing.
Yeah. Before we go, this was a tab that we had up before, and just remind people that with the progress that they're making, Volkswagen's already saying that they have a hydrogen car that'll do 2,000 kilometers per tank.
And how fast is the refueling?
Most of these hydrogen refuels are
does it not say?
Couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes. So it's like quicker than filling up your diesel truck.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
All the systems that we have right now, sometimes if you have a slow pump and I got a big diesel tank, you can spend 15 minutes at the pump, sometimes even 20 minutes waiting for it to fill up. And so that you got that time. If you got an electric car with the batteries, a lot of those cars, you got to let them, charge overnight.
Yeah, forever. Then you only get, 300 miles, if that, at best, right? Or 500. And they've got generators in the trunk. These gas-powered generators. So that when they run out, they can pull over and charge it. It's ridiculous. But I'm happy that this stuff is starting to come out into the light. And we're going to do our best to utilize it, create our own power, and help other people do the same thing. Right? That's the goal.
All right. Well, it's been a great night, brother.
Let me take the screen share back. I'll get ready to take us out of here. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That was a great update, Jason. It was pretty thorough, too. We got to learn a little bit more about hydrogen and how it's created and what we can do with it. And we're going to be moving forward as well, everybody. The recap was Jason started the FEC, the Free Energy Community. There's going to be a website and a whole bunch of other things that we're going to do. And we want to share it with you. And you can go around and share it with anyone else, too, that might be interested in understanding how we're going to get free energy. And we're going to unhook our power lines from the stupid government shackles. And I'm just thankful to spend this time with you guys tonight. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to everybody that joined. And looking forward to seeing you all again soon.
Yeah, totally, right? Should I end us off here? Play us out?
Absolutely.
Only on Beyond
Flat Earth.
I run up on him and they get it. I run up on him and they get it.
26, yeah, I'm dripping the glove. Big drip, yeah, I'm dripping the
Thank you.